do to him and their child if they had one was pretty wild. But then he essentially said, "You're not going to marry her," and he's
All right. Hold on. Oh, okay. Nope. We're good. 2 days in a row streaming. That feels good. That feels really, really good. I'm not gonna lie to you. Today we're going to be talking about Nier/Box Brick. This is. Oh, excuse me. I apologize. Been having some gas in my chest lately, but lost my train of thought. But this is exciting because we're talking about perspective. I definitely got to change the title so I could say that. We're talking about perspective, and it's going to be a really short stream, probably 20-30 minutes because I have prior commitments. So I may wait until he hops in, so I might sketch for a little bit just in case. I'll give it like 5 minutes, but I did tell 8 o'clock, so don't expect him to hop in anytime soon. So in the meantime, I will be doing my master study. I love Harry Potter, but I don't like this one. That's a lot better. Awesome. What's up, Organized? How you doing today, man? Currently doing a master study of one of my favorite artists. Wow, that's loud. What up, Bak? I have your perspective studies. Really, really good stuff. Really quick, as always. I love it. But let's just get into it, because I do have to make this kind of quick because I have prior engagements. But hopefully tomorrow, I am gonna stream early tomorrow in the day. Try to get as much time as possible. But I remember you were telling me, hey, how do you know like what shapes to use and stuff like that? This is it. Literally just studying what other artists do and trying to replicate it. Excuse me, I apologize. Also texting, can you guys hear me? Awesome. All right, so yeah, let's just get started, and then I'll just sketch for a little bit until I have to go. Like I said, this is Bak's work. Would you prefer Bak or Nier? I don't know which one you prefer. But really good stuff. All of these feel like they are in the same perspective. Wait a minute there. Actually, this isn't it. All of these feel like they're in the same perspective. These feel like they're in the same perspective. There was one thing that I did not really clarify, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. Alright, I'll call you Nier. It doesn't really matter, or it matters, but it's not super important for what we're doing, right? So what you have here is really good. Like this specific one is really good because it's shortened, like we can see this side and it's going away from us as well. But what this is saying is that this is a 2-point perspective that you have here. Okay? This is a 2-point perspective. This is 3-point perspective. This one is 3-point perspective. So some of them are not in the same realm, and I'll tell you why. So with 2-point perspective, it's so much more convenient because all you have to do is worry about the these lines that converge towards the vanishing point, and then honestly just make the lines that are parallel with the horizon line, we're gonna keep those parallel, meaning keep them going together. They'll never touch, right? That's what makes it a 2-point perspective, is because we don't really have to worry about the lines that are parallel to the horizon line, meaning this line. Let me use a different color, kind of like this line right here. We don't, like, it's parallel to the horizon line, which you got. That's why these work, right? Parallel to the horizon line. That's what makes it 2-point perspective. Now, when you start getting into 3-point perspective, now you have to worry about what's going towards the horizon line and what isn't, because we're introducing a new vanishing point, which means that it's either this one and this one is correct, or everything else is correct. Because now what you're doing is you're saying that this area is converging down, like we're looking on top of it and it's converging down, and in doing so you're adding this other vanishing point. So I'll even show you that. This will show you even the drawing guide, no, that drawing guide perspective. If I add one perspective, which is perfect for what you're asking for, 1 point. This is 1 point, right? What makes it 1 point is the one vanishing point and everything fanning out from away from it. What makes it 2 point is now we have another vanishing point. We have another vanishing point. You see that? Now you see the boxes. Make sure you can see the boxes. Let me zoom in. Hopefully you can see the boxes. These lines. Right? So now we've got this feeling going on. Where the second vanishing point is converging. These are now converging to the horizon line on a different scale, right? All of these lines are now converging, right? And now what makes it 3-point perspective is if I go ahead and add another point. Like if I add one like right here, right? And I'm going like really far because it's gonna look really skewed if I don't, and it just won't make sense. So I go like really far down. And now this is what makes it 3-point perspective. Is now this convergence of planes, or this convergence of lines going towards a vanishing point all the way down on the page. Right, so now this is 3-point perspective because now all of these lines are converging. So it's almost like each time you introduce a new vanishing point, or each time you introduce a new point perspective, one of the lines that are parallel to each other will start to converge a lot more. That's just the way to think about it. It's not always correct, obviously. It's not always correct. But that's the way to think about it. Let me know if this is confusing or not, because I know that this is a lot to grasp. How would I rotate an object but keep it 2-point? That's a great question, and it's very difficult. It's very difficult, but it's easily done when we keep the same idea consistent. What do I mean by that? So when I was showing you the other perspective, and I was telling you, all right, so the more this starts converging to this side, right? The more we'll see the other side. The more we'll see this side, the less we'll see that side, right? The more we'll see this plane, the less we'll see this plane. The more it turns. That's clear as day. Now, if we're doing it in that 2-point perspective, now we have to keep in mind all of the vanishing points. And I know that there's a video that David Finch, if you look up David Finch, he'll explain this a lot better than I'll explain it. Right, David Finch. Look up David Finch perspective. He'll explain this a lot better. But say we have a box right here. And if we're thinking 2-point perspective, not only, because you remember this, the more this side will show than this side, now we're not just moving this middle line. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. We're not just moving this middle line, but now we're going to converge these and we're going to keep these straight lines straight, right? We're going to keep the straight line straight, because that would, unless we're introducing a new perspective, which would then, perfect, we're going to keep these straight lines straight. And we're going to converge extra lines. And on top of that, the rate of convergence will be, that's where it gets complicated. The rate of convergence won't be as drastic on one side as it is on the other. So and what I mean by rate of convergence is how fast angles turn. So at first I had it like this, where it was like doing this, but in reality it'll probably just be like super minute if we're looking directly at this box. Please bring this a little bit. Filling up the box. Excuse me. So what we're doing now is, if the vanishing point for these parallel lines is pointing right here, we're going to move this vanishing point. Even here, I kind of got it wrong. We're going to move the vanishing point to right here. Now we have multiple vanishing points. Right? While the rate of convergence, these right here, will start converging. So now this is our 2-point perspective. Is that making sense? Let me know. Trust me. This took me years. No matter how many times someone explains it, it took me years to get it. Years. Because it's so it makes so much sense, but in theory, but when practiced, it's very, very difficult. Because our brains are gonna tell us something different. All right, so like let's do one that's on the top. Right. If we're gonna move it again, okay, but what if you see the top of the box? Well, I guess I'm kind of doing it, but you're seeing under the box. And you still want to rotate them. Okay, so I was I was just about to answer that. I'm a little ahead of you. There we go. It's the same thing, right? So the rate of convergence, right, is going to these areas are going to converge. This area right here, these parallel lines are going to converge to the same vanishing point. Don't my issue is I would go like I guess I would do like something like I'll just show you the right way first because I lost my train of thought anyways. These are gonna converge to the same vanishing point. Right? These are converging to the same vanishing point. These are gonna converge to the same vanishing point. And just because these are converging to the same vanishing point and they're parallel to each other, this area will do the same, right? Right? Now these boxes are turning in space. It's all about keeping track of those parallel lines and vanishing points. And for me personally, it gets very confusing adding the dots. I just tell people to add the dots because it kind of keeps track of everything. But I'm kind of just eyeballing it where I'm like, okay, if I know that these are vanishing here, I know the parallel lines are all going to vanish towards each other. Right? And even here, like I might even push this one a little bit more just to give it that feeling of converged. But here's the difference, and keep it as simple as possible. Here's the difference between this 2-point and 3-point. 3-point perspective would have said these lines here, these straight lines, because right now 2-point is saying that these straight lines are going straight, right? That's what 2-point perspective is saying for us right now. But if it was 3-point perspective, then it would have looked like this one, like how you have where it's more skewed. It would have looked more something like this, where the bottom is a little bit smaller and then starts like coming up towards you. Now those angles are a lot more drastic. You see that rate of convergence is so much more the rate of convergence and the these lines right here are so much more drastic, right? But this would be the 3-point, and you can tell now if we look at it, this one doesn't feel like it's in the same area or space as that. And when you were asking me, okay, so what about like shapes and how to manipulate them? We do the same thing. Like a really good practice is, because what we should be learning is how to manipulate shape. And to manipulate shape, we actually really do have to understand perspective. Because if I have a cylinder in perspective, because not everything is a box, right? There are things that are circular, there are things that are straight. Like it's so much more complex than everything being just a box. But if we're able to add like a hole inside this box, right? This is a trick. This is something that I'll like use to warm up, get my brain warm. I'll start adding like, just to try to show myself dimension. I think this ellipse a little bit better. Ellipses are just as important as circles, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the ellipse the right way. Where we just find the axes. I'm sure you've seen this trick before. And then now we just get all of these points together, and I'm gonna cheat it because cares. All of these areas touch. That's good enough. Now we've got a cylinder. We can I posted a picture of this picture. Oh wait, what is it? What's governing the rate of conversion? Though, sorry if you said that. No, you're fine. I didn't say it because I don't want to overcomplicate it. It's very, like, right now I'm eyeballing it, and I'd rather you eyeball it because I don't want you to overthink it, because worrying about the rate of convergence made me overthink, just like how anatomy made me overthink. I think worrying about the rate of convergence makes you overthink as well. But I'll show you, because I think we kind of think the same, and I feel like you just try and get out, you know, for yourself. It's a lot more intuitive. So I'll show you. I'm gonna save this and then erase everything. Let me see. I think you posted it this one. Okay. What's governing the rate of convergence? I see the photo you have. So instead of me eyeballing it, I'm gonna show you the scientific way that they have it. That I really like. Yes, it's obviously it's necessary, but you'll see. Better than I'll show you. So right now, all of our lines. I hate this new update. I hate this new update so much. Stop it. Okay. Right now, all of our lines. These are parallel, yeah? These lines are parallel. These lines are parallel. Meaning, if we're thinking in 3D, the box would be like this. Like we're looking at the inside of the box right now. Because the vanishing point is like right here, so we can just easily see. I'm eyeballing it, so I'm right. I know what I'm gonna do. Go like Okay, so stay with me. We're following along this vanishing point right here just for this box. Now, if I want to translate this box into a different area in the same perspective, what I have to do is, instead of looking at this vanishing point, excuse me, I apologize, just this vanishing point, because we're thinking 2-point perspective right now, right? I'm pretty sure we're talking 2-point perspective. Oh, excuse me, sorry, let me get a drink of water. So these parallel lines, right? These parallel lines. The black is my parallel. Blacks are front. Red is back. Or inside, right? So I'm gonna just put back just to. Okay. If I'm going to turn this in perspective, this parallel line right here now will begin to find, because these parallel lines are going to a vanishing point that's off the page. But the more I turn it the other way, the vanishing point now becomes more on the page, or just closer to the horizon, closer to this main vanishing point. I'll just say that. So what I'll do is, instead of having the because right now this top one is saying the vanishing point is off the page, I'll just literally turn it just ever so slightly, and now that new vanishing point is somewhere off the page still, but it's a little bit closer here, right? So I would say the speed, because I'm really trying to make this as simple as possible, the speed of how fast this vanishing point, these things converge to the vanishing point, is purely, I don't want to say things in let's see how I can say this. Let me draw it first and then see if I can. That's a great question. I wish I knew how to explain it a lot better. I guess I can show it better than I can explain it. So now these vanishing points are going here, and the vanishing points, so if it was the other perspective, right, you remember how this would be straight, then all we would do is move that center line. Well, now we're converging these. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to converge here. And if you can see now, this vanishing point, this rate of convergence on this side is much faster than this rate of convergence. And the more I turn it around, the more this rate of convergence will go straight, and the more this rate of convergence will begin to skew. Okay? Let me know if that makes sense. So the more this area, does it make sense? Okay. Then you say, oh. The more this area shows itself, the more it'll look like this. Simple. And the more this area disappears into the back, the faster it'll converge. So the rate of convergence is dependent on this the turn of the object. So the more, and I did something wrong, because I should have made it like this. Should have made it like this, so it looks more like a box. Right? And it'll be the same thing with if we're looking at it from the bottom or the top, right? And look at it from the top. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna turn it. And we're gonna skew it. I'm telling you, if you watch David Finch's video, I'm sure he explains it a lot better. But I think I've matched it pretty decent. Right? Is that... Uh-oh. That was my cue. But just, if you can, just quickly let me know if what I'm saying isn't making sense or you're confused. What I would like you to do is just try it, because it is a lot, bro. It is a lot. Trust me, I get it, man. I don't expect you to get it right in a day. If you do, good on you, but I really don't. It's like, I needed this stuff told to me at least 100 times before it started to click. The one with the top showing is still sus for you. With the top, like this one right here, is sus for you. Like, what's making it confusing for you? Like, are you saying the drawing is sus, or just the concept of it is sus? Okay. So this vanishing point, these lines that are parallel to each other now have a new vanishing. Right? And these lines have their own vanishing point as well. We're not worried about these lines. They're always going to be straight. For these, for this perspective. But what we'll do is just show me what you get, and then I'll just critique it, and then we'll just do it like how we're doing everything else, where you just show me, because I think I'll be able to tell what's confusing you when I see what you're drawing. Okay? I wish I had little bit of time to do this master study. Show you guys how important these master studies are, man. So important, man. And my teacher used to tell me that all the time, and I'd be like, nah, I want to draw my own stuff. But it's so important. But that'll be all for today, guys. I appreciate you, Nier. Tomorrow I'm back at it again a little bit earlier, so hopefully you're able to make it. But you know, I'll always shoot you a text, and I want to start posting these like short clips of what I'm saying. And if it's fine, if I can use your work, let me know. We'll just text. All right, so that'll be all. Later, everyone.